Next question. What if you don't have a good mentor?
So we talk about mentorship and how mentorship is important, and it's good to have mentors, and I would agree it's good to have mentors if you can find them, and you can't always find them. Mm-hmm. And so I think this individual that asked this question, what if you don't have a good mentor? What do you do? And for me, it actually brings back my memories of when I first got to the SEAL teams, because when I first got to the SEAL teams, it was actually pretty hard to find a good mentor that I looked at and said, I want to be like that person, and they were going to invest in you. Right. So it was one thing to say, hey, that guy looks like a badass and I want to be like them. Mm-hmm. That was easy. But to have someone that says, hey, listen, new guy, I'm going to invest in you and make you into a great SEAL. That really wasn't happening.
Yeah.
We had, first of all, some of the reasons it wasn't happening was because there was guys that you were on constant going on deployments. And so it wasn't like someone would grab you and pull you aside. And when you got in a SEAL platoon, it became a little bit easier, and you'd usually find somebody that's going to at least take some interest in you. Mm. But the Vietnam guys, they were around, but they were, instructors or working in the training department. So you weren't going to see them on a daily basis. They weren't going to mentor you. They weren't going to be there for you. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, not only that, but the guys that I went through training with and the guys that I ended up going to my first team with, we actually wanted to be more hardcore than what we saw. Mm. We actually wanted to take it to another level. And so, to be honest with you, we kind of mentored ourselves. Mm. And we set the standard of what we thought a SEAL was supposed to be like in our minds, and we started to act upon it. I mean, I remember we were doing the runs and the swims at the SEAL team with our full gear. So like the guys at the team would be wearing, sneakers and a pair of shorts, and we'd be wearing boots and a rucksack, and they would be looking at us like we were kind of crazy, But that was us kind of mentoring ourselves. And we did that with everything. We were spending time at the team on the weekends. We would inspect each other's gear over and over again and modify it and make sure it's squared away. And we were constantly trying to learn and teach each other different things. I remember trying to teach each other about the different radios that they had and different kind of knots that we had learned. And so we were always just kind of mentoring ourselves. And so I think, that's the point, is that if you can't find a good mentor, then you got to become your own. And I think with the way the world is now, it's actually relatively easy to do that. I mean, first of all, you can research what you want to be like. You can figure out who you want to be like, mm-hmm. or maybe it's not who you want to be like, but what aspects of other humans you can take and bring on board. Now, that is something I did with all kinds of SEALs. There was all kinds of badass SEALs that I said, that guy's really good at this, and I'm going to try and get good at that too. Or the way that guy acts in this situation is awesome, and I'm going to try and act that way too. So it wasn't like I was trying to be like them, but I was at least trying to emulate the best aspects of these different individuals. Mm. And I think there's a lot of examples out there today where you can do that. You can look for people to emulate. On YouTube, you can basically find out how to do anything. Mm-hmm. In fact, you need to be careful that you sanity check some of the people that you look into on that. But I think the key really to mentoring yourself, it goes back to what we just talked about with detachment, because you need to, if you want to mentor yourself, you got to be able to look at yourself, and you got to be able to look at yourself in an honest way. Mm. And that means you need to be able to detach yourself and observe yourself from that distant place. And by distant, I mean 3 feet. I mean just outside of inside your own brain. And if you detach, you can see where you're making mistakes. Mm-hmm. And you can see what the long range you that you're striving for, you can see what it's going to take to get there. And I think that's what I've done when I haven't had a mentor, is I've figured out a way to mentor myself. And I think the goals that you set and the path that you draw out, and you detach yourself so that you can give yourself an honest observation of who you are and how you're doing. And I think that is a good way to handle it.
Legit.